I just think that it's important that you guys, really push, push on what you believe.
I'm sorry, I'm curious about your revenue stream, because you honestly answered that question earlier about saying that you're predominantly all is crowdfunded. So in terms of sales,
yeah, regular sales,
what would you say the percentages is funded, crowdfunded, versus what you do sales after?
Well, I'd say prior to this investment round, right, I've done $140,000 in Kickstarter campaigns and about $560,000 in revenue. So that's just straight up sales, book sales at either conventions or on our Shopify store. 80% of our sales are in Shopify, maybe 5% in Amazon, because I guess the algorithm works, right? So Amazon's a pretty good platform for us, and the rest is in shows, right? I do a lot of money in shows, but I'm not trying to go to 1 million shows, right? I have a good online business, so I've been toning it down. The more successful you are, the less shows you want to go to, right? And shows are expensive too, right? So, I'm always looking at margins. I'm like, how much do I have to sell to break even, right? How much inventory must I burn just to break even, right? Oh yeah, big tip, don't go to a $5,000 show. I know some of y'all planning on booking a show to like BookCon or Book Expo or something like that. I know it's gonna happen. I'm telling you, don't do it. All right, get a regular ticket and walk in like a regular person walking into the show for like 50 or 100 bucks or whatever. But don't be a vendor. All right, I'm telling you, people do it all the time. Oh, but it's so much exposure. It's gonna be 80,000 teachers, and they won't buy from you. They just won't. In fact, most people there are giving them books for free, But I'm telling you, you all will do it. I've done it, right? I'm telling you, that is the biggest trap in the world. If you're somebody trying to become a writer, 500 or less, and even 500, I think is too much, because you can get an Artist Alley table in freaking New York Comic Con for $500, and that's a guaranteed 270,000 people who are rabid fans who are going to be at that show. So what is this $20,000 people event in Tennessee charging $500 for? You're looking at your numbers. So it doesn't make any sense. You have less opportunity, right? But you're paying a higher premium compared to the biggest shows in the country. So just be careful about that. That kills businesses. That's what I was talking about, the second death. People they can't control, they can't sell at a velocity, and they have their high prices. Books and shows are like the biggest price things that are gonna mess you up.
Maybe you should do a comics economics textbook.
That's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. That's pretty slick. I've made Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that for automatic calculations of costs and stuff like that, right? But I haven't really broke it down textbook level.
Like a comics essay textbook thing.
It'd be pretty funny, right?
Yeah, it would be interesting.
The business according to the numbers. Right? The comic business according to the numbers.
Yes.
How to not fail. That's pretty funny. Did I answer your question though?
Did.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about your contracting? You mentioned contracts twice, right? So my sense is that folks that you're poaching from other places, what's in your contract that draws them to you? First, if you could speak to that a little.
Are you talking about the people I'm planning on acquiring, or are you talking about people I've done business with before? Because before it was like contracting, like I'm hiring somebody as a contractor.
Okay.
Versus in the future, I'm acquiring entire IPs for digital distribution. Right, it was very different.
Okay, so I had the sense that you had some folks that were working for another organization, and then perhaps they were contracted employees. I'm not sure, but then you offered a different level of contract or a different kind of contract.
Okay. So future deals.
So what are you doing differently, I guess?
Well, one, there's clear disadvantages to doing business with certain competitors, right? For instance, Webtoons, in order to even get ad revenue share, right? Most places you get ad revenue share no matter how bad you are, right? The second YouTube even has a low barrier. They're like, hey, you get to this barrier. It's not really a big barrier for YouTube in order to start getting qualifying for ad revenue share, right? But Webtoons is like 40,000 unique users a month read your comics, right? And 10,000 subscribers before you can start getting ad revenue share. Think about how much crap you gotta make. It's like, you might be on there for like a year and a half before you ever get to the point like that. And most likely you have to pick a genre that's already popular on their platform because their algorithm is baked in at this point. They can't change it at this point. Their audience is mostly female, mostly about romance and something romance. If it's sci-fi, it's sci-fi romance. If it's about aliens, it's alien romance. But something has to be about romance. Otherwise, it's not going to get enough likes, and then it's not going to grow, and then you're going to fall into a big pit of nothingness. So Webtoons is basically a dead end for most minority creators that are not Asian or white, right? Because I think it's too, it's a platform dedicated to originally for Korean content. So Asian community has a huge following on there as well. So as long as it's Asian or it's white, you're going to get a lot of likes, a lot of comments. Romance, way more, right? Anything outside of that, you're basically just beating your head on the wall, right? And you're not gonna make any money on the platform ever. You're just giving your content to them for free, Comixology. If you're not DC or Marvel, you're not making any money. They push industry hard, and they have absolute control over it. If you try to advertise your books on Comixology, all you're doing is paying them. You're not paying yourself. You're spending your capital and your time and your power to push downloads to your freaking Comixology book, right? You don't get to keep the customer. You don't get to get their email. You don't get to they can't follow you as a creator. They just read it and it's gone forever. That's it, case closed, right? This is the most disengaged level of audience you'll ever have in your life, right? They'll never know you existed as the creator. So their platform is you're giving them your content, right? And you're hardly getting anything for it, maybe $50 a year or some crazy low number like that, right? And what I say is I option to people right off the bat, 1 to 2 years, right? Give them a couple $1,000 because I know I'm gonna make it back, no problem. Exclusivity, they can't show it anywhere besides their own personal patron. I only do that because some people do have decent patrons, right? I have a great patron page. So I understand why people would want to be able to distribute directly to their fans. So I let that slide. But everything else, only BSP, right? They have to format it the way Webtoons is, because I like Webtoons format. They have really good reading formats, right? But there's a lot of benefits besides the option. The option agreement is just to simply say, hey, if you don't join me, you're kind of trolling at this point, because Comixology and Webtoons ain't gonna give you this. No matter what you do, they're not gonna give you this. So at this point, if you don't take this deal when you're not making any money with your digital content in the first place, right? Why? Other than you just don't like me as a business, right? It's like why? It's like somebody offered you something that nobody else would even think about offering, right? And not even take away your IP. You own your IP. You own your physical sales, because most of these people live off their physical sales. They go to shows all the time. They kill it at shows. Can't sell anything online. They sell 10 books a month online. Sell 500 books a weekend at a good show, right? And it's like so they're like, hey, so you can't have an IP. I live off of this, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that one that you have like 10 books a month, where you ain't making no money on that? I'll take that, all right? Because I'm gonna make a lot of money off of that, and you're gonna make money off of it too, and you'll finally have a second stream of income. Hopefully, you don't have to work anymore. Because I'm sick of, that's the biggest thing, right? I'm trying to get them out of, oh, I have to work, I'll get it working on my book. Like, no, I want you to work on your damn book every day. It's like, it's like, that's what I want them to do. So that's my whole goal as BSP, is to make people stop working at their finance job or whatever job they're working at, and only make books, for myself, not for them, right? And I say it like that directly to them, right? Because it's more convincing when you tell people, I'm not trying to be a philanthropist and make you, live your dream life. It's dead serious. If you work exclusively on your books full time, I have more content to sell. I have more content to give people, to bake them, to get onto the platform, to keep them retained. And as a result, you have a better life because now you're living your life that you always wanted. But make no mistake, it's about the company's success and not necessarily you living your dreams. And people respect that more, right? There's always somebody thinking it's a scam. Everything's a scam, right? Especially when it comes to a contract, everything's a scam. So you just lay it out. Say, look, it's not for you, it's for me. Huh? I'm not coming at you with hopes and dreams and stuff. I'm looking at numbers. If I can get you away from that 9 to 5, great. You know, so, but that's the deal.
So, are you looking at artists who have published their books and you're then going to
Yes.
kind of increase that? And then are you using their content to then spawn off into the different projects that you're doing by developing through animation, for your YouTube? Is there a further goal for that? Do you want these different projects to be picked up by the streamers, by Nickelodeon to be further content, or do you want to remain in control and keep it?
We are a middleman. We are a middleman when it comes to their animations and stuff. Mostly because that's what we're known for at this point, right? So people are gonna be coming to us for content in general, right? Industry people, right? And if we have a good portfolio of exclusive content, right, we'll be the middleman for that deal. Most people want the deal no matter what, right? And we can only have but so much manpower to make X amount of animations ourselves, right? So there's no reason why we're not going to be shopping their stuff. In fact, it's one of the perks in the agreement is that we're representing you, you know?
You're
Because
acting
you don't.
as an agent to those
Yeah.
artists now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, we're representing them, their brand, because we're creating their brand, right? Their brand is, hey, you saw me at this show, see me again. That's not really something that you can, you know, get 1 million followers for or whatever, right? You have to be known abroad, randomly. Randomly, people should be able to run into you. You know, so that means that we have to really pump a lot of resources into them, right? And because of that, we're the exclusive shopper. You know, we're shopping them out. Everything else, people are gonna be coming knocking the door down like crazy once these animations go out. They're gonna be like, "Yo, what you got? Anything you're not planning on developing that we could develop?" You know, and I'll be like, "Yeah, absolutely. This one right here has an extreme popularity with ages 25 to 34 who grew up off of Dragon Ball. What do you think?"
Do you have those stats?
Yeah, we got a lot of stats. We got a lot of stats, mostly because our advertising, we spend a lot of money on advertising. So we have a pixel from hell. It tells us everything, right? It has so much stats in there about who the actual people who buy, who the actual people who engage, age ranges, you know, where they're located in the country. I like that one the best, right? Because you'd be surprised. There's so much money in North Carolina. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing in the world. North Carolina blows up nonstop when it comes to selling stuff. I don't know. Completely confusing to me, right? Guy from Birmingham, Alabama, writing a samurai joint, killing it in New York, right? He's one of the people I represent, right? Writing a samurai joint. And I'm like, man, if you just living in New York, you'd be straight. he said, you don't have to do nothing because this is the Wu-Tang area. They see a black samurai and it's over. They don't even care. They don't care about black fans. They said, I'm gonna get that one right there. How much is it? $15. Well, that's like 3 times more than I would pay at a comic shop, but I'm gonna take it. You know, it's like, so, you know, there's some things out there. It's pretty fun, you know.
This is more just like, are there any
You need to pop into
creators
it.
that, as a kid or like in your life, that were inspirations for like the kind of content that you tend to have an aesthetic preference for? Like something that you're like, oh, this reminds me of this when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Well, I was always a big anime guy,
Yeah.
right? And I make comic books just because I'm in America, but you know, people see the anime references in my content and stuff like that. So I was a big fan of Naruto, big fan of Berserk. Berserk is probably the most influential thing that's, as far as like content, I look at Berserk and I say, yeah, lots of different nations fighting against each other, supernatural elements, hero that suffers ridiculously, right? But somehow still manages to keep somewhat sane, right? I'm like, yeah, I like this story right here, right? And that influenced a lot of how I designed Asar. You know, he's a really tough kid, you know? And, you know, Also, gaming. Massive RPG fanatic. One day.
Which ones?
Well, Warcraft has always been my bread and butter. You know, Warcraft, and I just love the thing about Warcraft above all else is just simply memorable characters. That's what they do. He said, sure, the game's fun, right? Sure, whatever. You have to remember everybody. It's almost impossible to forget any of the characters in Warcraft because they all have first of all, a completely unique aesthetic to them compared to everybody else. They have complete unique ideology compared to everybody else. You know, who thinks of an elf that's extremely fanatically racist against everybody else, right? But also is like considered the holiest, like, patron saint of her species. You know, like it's a kind of weird combination of traits, right? Like, she hates everyone. Everybody's an intruder, right? Intruder. You're like, they're on the other side of the continent. Well, they shouldn't have came across the sea, right? And it's like these kind of attributes caused them to have success. World of Warcraft wasn't successful because it was a great MMO. It was successful because that's Thrall. You know, it's like yo, that's Thrall. I'm Horde. That's Thrall. You know, so you know, I always say, like, the characters make everything, but they shouldn't be like end-alls, right? That's what I hate about Dragon Ball, right? Eventually it gets to the point where you're like, well, Goku better save the day because nobody else can do jack, right? It's like well, Goku has to save the day because no one else can do anything at this point, and it's always like that because the power system is so out of control, right? And you know, that's why I like Naruto, right? Wars, nations, everybody's getting jacked up, everybody's getting laid out. Some people just lose. You know, the main characters lose hardcore. You're like, well, I guess it wasn't his day. You know, I like that aspect of a story where people can just get annihilated. You know, in a future issue that's coming out of Black Sands, they're stepping into a war. The kids, right? And they're kids. They think they're cool. They're way more powerful than everybody else. Can probably obliterate people, right? But they get hit by arrows and get lit up. Like, they get shot multiple times. They're like, yo! And then they get, and then like, one of the characters drags them off, right? And he's like, yo, we can't be acting like this. You know, they said we can get killed out here, right? It's like, yeah, I guess so, right? And they're like, trying to get these dang arrows out of them and stuff. And it's like a realistic moment. It's like, they're demigods, but they could easily get killed, right? By just random, you think you're too bold, right? And I think that kind of dynamic is very important to make a story last, right? Otherwise, you just end up building the next big bad guy. You just saved the world from the ultimate enemy, and now the ultimate enemy has emerged. You could blow up a planet with a 5-second charge up, fireball. So why are we fighting on planets anymore? Like, you just messed up the whole story at this point. It's like okay, blow up the planet. It's like every fight's like, should I blow up the planet now? Should I blow up the planet now? Oh, no, we'd have an honorable 3-5 episode fight instead of me just point at the ground and blow up the planet. You know, so I was like, you know, this is like you set up huge plot holes in your story by letting the powers get out of control. You know.
Wow, I think this has been a really good conversation. Thank you, everybody. I think the only thing I wanted to mention is that the next meetup is going to be on April 8th, and I'm hoping it's going to be another really awesome one. Thank you.
No problem.
And well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was really inspiring.